Hey everyone, welcome back. Again, I'm Greg with A&A Masonry. We're on another type of job here, and I'm sure you've heard about this before. You might even have experienced it, where you've gotten into jobs where you've dealt with a contractor that sounds good, the money's okay, but they really don't follow the procedures when it comes to building permits and drawings. And there's a lot of things that you have to comply with to get those things through, especially when you have registered permits on a property. The city inspectors will want to see all the inspections have taken place before they will release that permit off that property, and that could be a problem if they won't do that and you're going to try to sell. So we took on this job. I actually met with this homeowner about three and a half years ago. She decided to go somewhere else. She went ahead. After going through one or two contractors, she ended up, got a quasi job done, incomplete, it's a mess. I brought the city inspector here, said we're taking over this job. We're looking at we want to use the permits and the drawings on there. He came out, met with me, we took a look at it. He said everything's got to get ripped out. We've got to see everything before we can form and pour concrete. So that's where we are. So let's take a look.
A&A Masonry, an award-winning company servicing the Greater Toronto Area and the Golden Horseshoe.
Okay, so here's one of the many things that we saw when we came on. First of all, you can see we've got block work, cinder block, as you may refer to it as. Now, when we took a look at this, we can see that there's already concrete poured. This is what we consider to be structure, and the drawings call for actual footings. And in our climate, we have to be 4 feet below the frost line. That's about 4.5 feet down below grade level. We have to do an actual footing. We have to frame it with steel, and then we can proceed to put a concrete block wall. We also have to fill these walls with rebar steel and cement, so it essentially becomes a solid piece of concrete. But the problem with this is that we realize that when we pan down over here, when I chip this away here, the mortar, I can see that this block work lands right on top of this slab, which all this is going to crumble and move. And because we have no weight on top of here, we don't really see it, but if you want to pan over this way, you're going to see that we can already see the cracks starting to happen in these block walls, because these aren't filled with concrete, they're not filled with steel, they're not tied into a footing that extends down just like a regular house. Because if we went ahead and poured the concrete slab on top of this, all of this could come crumbling down. So the city officials took a look at this and they said everything's got to go. So unfortunately for the homeowner, we got to rip this out, demolish it, we got to dig down 4.5 feet, put a trench in there and start from the beginning.
Once the customer knew that the work performed on the home was not being done correctly, they called A&A to come and solve the problem left by the previous contractor. A&A gets a lot of calls like this where less than desirable work has been done, and customers need a top company to come in and solve the problem. This can be a common problem for a customer trying to hire a contractor. Not being educated in the particular field of work, it can be very easy to get caught up in estimates, getting confused in trying to choose the right company to do the work. Fortunately today, the internet provides all the information needed to choose the best company for your job. No need to use older or archaic methods to choose a company like Get 3 Estimates, etc., which was being done back in the day of the Yellow Pages. After putting in the proper footings to create an up-to-code structure for the new concrete blocks to be laid, the crew also created a proper base before putting the cement for the walkway leading up to the house. As Greg stated, the blocks were reinforced with rebar and cement to create a solid structure. With these points in place, the crew could now work to put the aesthetic features of the job in place to help make a great curb appeal for the home.
Okay, we're back at this job where we had to take over an existing job that was done incorrectly, did not follow the procedures that come with drawings and permits, and requires you to get city inspections before you proceed to next phases, such as footings, foundations, and so forth. So what we had to do was we had to revitalize the whole job because it was delayed for almost a year and a half. It took us 2 to 3 months to actually do that process to get the city back on board. We had to go and tear everything that was here originally from the prior contractor. We had to rip all that stuff out, show that there was footings, build foundations, do everything to code, everything to the drawings with specific measurements and metals and so forth, and reinforcement. And now at this stage here, we've just finished the framing and pouring of the concrete slab, which is just going to be used as a surface for us to finish it with a nice natural stone. So the walkway is going to be finished with a nice natural stone. We're going to have a coping here, the steps themselves. We did some modifications before. If you see in the pictures, you'll remember that we had a block retaining wall that came off the existing brick structure. We had a block wall railing. We took that away. We're going to open it up, so it's going to make this look more larger. It's going to complement the house much nicer. And you're going to see when we take all the framing off, we're going to have drip edges, everything to manage the water, which you know is very important to us. And I would just say, when you're dealing with contractors, it's very important from the beginning that they follow the procedure, that they are getting back and they are in good communication with you. One of the things that A&A really stresses from our workers, from the top down, is that we get back to customers very quickly. Our communication is very rapid and quick, and you have to expect that, because you imagine as you get and progress into a job, if you're asking questions and you're trying to get through this procedure, and you've got city and other trades working on your property, you need to have good communication and very quick cycles of communication getting back and forth. If you stick to that and you come up with a fair budget, you'll be very, very happy at the end, and the job will be lasting properly. So the next phase we're going to see is when the guys are here and they're going to be laying the stone on top, and then the railings come on, and then again it's another beautiful job when we're done.
Once the full structure was put into place, the finishing or aesthetic aspects of the job can then commence. The job features a nice walkway leading up to the stairs, and then the stairs going up to the second level entrance. It also included retaining walls around the driveway and walkway, as well as the structure, to hold up the upper level porch. The retaining walls on each side of the driveway were finished off with a nice parge on the side, as was the lower walls of the structure. The driveway retaining walls were also given stone coping with a beautiful rounded edge to manage the water and to protect the parging. This coping allows water to cascade off the coping and onto the driveway down to the drain that you see at the bottom. On top of the concrete that was laid down for the walkway, you can see this beautiful stone that was laid on top. With this concrete base, this walkway will be very stable and will last a long, long time. The stairs were finished off with a very aesthetic blend of stone risers to match the stone on the walkway and gray treads with rounded edges. The treads with those rounded edges will keep the water off the masonry and manage it to cascade away, which will help the stairs to last as well. Offset with the driveway, the whole job ended up with a very nice aesthetic view to it. And now with the railing installed, it is fully functional and looks great. Combined with the structural soundness of the work, this job has given the home a completely new facelift. As a result, the customer can be secure in knowing the home is safe and has a great curb appeal that is going to last for years and years to come. So if you care for your home, and if you want to get the right solution for your front steps or walkway, make sure that you call the professionals at A&A and let them get to work for you to make your home safe and looking great from here on out. To schedule your next project, contact A&A Masonry today.